Pass the floor to the representative from Sri Lanka.
Madam Chair, at the outset, I'm pleased to congratulate you and the members of your Bureau on their election. I would also like to take this opportunity to assure the fullest support of Sri Lanka for the work of our agenda. Sri Lanka associates itself with the statement delivered by the distinguished delegates of Guyana on behalf of the Group of 77 and China. Madam Chair, the theme of the general debate of the Second Committee, Crisis, Resilience and Recovery, accelerating towards the 2030 agenda, wholly captures the journey the global community has been on in the past 18 months. The importance of the work of this committee cannot be emphasized more. Its focus on the mechanisms and specific tools needed to drive the overarching themes of social, humanitarian, economic development is how the deliverance of the 2030 agenda will come to be. Therefore, Madam Chair, Sri Lanka looks forward to the fruitful discussions in this session. Madam Chair, the global pandemic has exacerbated the existing inequalities not only within one's own border, but across national boundaries. Sri Lanka faces the devastating financial strain brought about by the pandemic as we continue to reconcile providing not only access to basic services, but also using reserves to fund economic and social recovery efforts while also investing in infrastructure development. Recovery from the pandemic and continued resilient development has been the overarching focus of the government of Sri Lanka. The closure of global borders, travel restrictions, and other barriers for trade resulted in the decline of the country's foreign currency reserves as tourism, remittances from abroad, export revenues, and the exit of investors from both the debt and equity markets occurred on the onset of the pandemic. Sri Lanka, in this context, has reprioritized its expenditure, focusing on a rights-based financing approach, providing continuous access to free education and free and quality healthcare. The government continues to advocate and provide for its citizens with social assistance and business support programs, resource mobilization, expenditure reprioritization, and monetary and microfinancial policy measures. In this regard, Sri Lanka has prepared a socio-economic recovery plan for 2021-23 in a sum of US $774 million to contain the priority sectors to support the economy. Various programs have been implemented within the government policy framework and within the framework of the program Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor, which is focused on a people-centric economic development, technology-based society, and sustainable environment management to enable low-income earners to contribute to the economic development of the country. Allow me, Madam Chair, to bring out some of the programs and its operational aspects back at home. Firstly, the government of Sri Lanka has launched a program to provide emergency cash assistance and essential food items to low-income households in support of families who have lost their entire livelihood due to the quarantine curfews and lockdowns. Secondly, the Samurdhi Relief Program is implemented to fulfill daily consumption requirements and to improve living standards of more than 1.7 million recipient families. Thirdly, as regards macro policies, the government has considered concessions for existing performing loans, debt moratoriums, and concessions for existing non-performing loans. Fourthly, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has introduced a wide range of fiscal and financial concession schemes to licensed commercial banks, specialized banks, finance companies, and specialized leasing companies since March of 2020 to reinforcing support COVID-19 hit business activities, including employment businesses and individuals. And finally, the Saubhagya Samurdhi Production Village Program is aimed to establish 500 manufacturing villages island-wide, where majority of the producers are to be from low-income families. Madam Chair, at the global level, our recovery efforts should be backed by strong political will, both from the North and the South. Therefore, we call for global solidarity, for nations to uphold their commitments relating to official development assistance. And we call on international financial institutions to be flexible and transparent in their financing, to reject the imposition of values or territorial imposition in its provisioning of finances. Equitable and readily available access to financing tools to overcome issues of poverty, economic regression, and other barriers in achieving the SDGs is not helpful a step towards recovery, but a necessary evil. Distinguished delegates, the acceleration towards delivering the 2030 agenda means that we have to take a more introspective look at the underlying causes of the current global crisis. Global economic recovery is possible only if there is a global economic activity. This is not possible if one half of the world is facing continuous lockdowns and COVID waves, whilst the other half is able to regain economic activity. In conclusion, Madam Chair, Sri Lanka reiterates its commitment to the achievement of the 2030 agenda and the readiness of my delegation.
Thank you.